welcome to Degrassi, the Class of Nostalgia. I'm Michaela.
And I'm Amber.
And today
We're doing
how we gonna
shows that can
shows that was influenced by Degrassi, or at least we thought was influenced by Degrassi.
What we call the episode Degrassi walk so these shows could run.
Yes.
At Jewelry.
That was like the thing last year. Or I mean it's still kind of a thing, like that whole disc walk so that you can run, whatever. Kind of this was influenced kind of by, and it's gonna kind of talk about one of our shows. So honestly, after I say this, we're gonna get into it. But if y'all remember online, everybody was like, oh, Maddie from Euphoria literally is like kind of Manny from Degrassi. So they was like Manny walks so literally Maddie could run. So that's kind of where this influence came from.
Yes.
So getting into it, like I said, first TV show we're gonna talk about is Euphoria. So this kind of gonna be like more of an analysis than just like, even though we're not experts, we can't be like this. We don't have no proof or nothing that these shows were like nobody's like Sam Levinson didn't say like Degrassi, this episode of Degrassi was influenced. Like, we're not saying that. These is really just opinions, and we just did our own research of like, this seems similar to this. So I just want to say nobody was like copying nobody. It was more just like, wow, we seen these sort of influences from Degrassi, because Degrassi was such a pivotal show for the generations that grew up watching it. It's been on since the 80s.
Yeah, and these shows came on after Degrassi. So.
Yeah, or at least the particular seasons we talking about. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like with a lot of things I was thinking, because I wrote notes. Y'all know me. I like to write the notes down.
I did.
But some of the things that I was thinking about this morning that I didn't write down my notes, I wanted to say first so that I could just not forget it. But of course, we know that Drake is a producer on Euphoria. Drake literally was on Degrassi, so already that's a huge influence right there. Not saying Drake went into this like, y'all make sure y'all watch my show and make sure y'all take some inspiration, but like he worked on a show that was centered around teens in a lot of situations, like serious situations or situations that weren't talked about on a lot of other TV shows. And Euphoria is literally doing that for this generation, talking about topics that wasn't really talked about or isn't really talked about and showing it to people who need to see it. So already that's a huge influence. And then I was thinking about this episode where Cassie, if y'all remember, she got pregnant and she chose not to keep the baby and, to terminate the whole pregnancy. And that, I don't know why me thinking about it this morning, is literally kind of like the whole Manny episode where she chose to terminate her pregnancy. And even though we always talk about like, oh, Maddie and Manny is so similar, that was literally like more of an in-depth episode of what Manny went through when she was, going through that whole situation. Like, we've never seen Cassie ice skate or anything like that. And then all of a sudden we saw her ice skate on that episode. And if y'all remember, Manny used to ice skate. She did it for like during the Christmas episode. She was ice skating. She was like an instructor, or she was doing a play or something. And then of course the whole terminating the pregnancy. We didn't really get to see the whole experience for Manny. We did see it for Cassie, and I feel like it was kind of a representation. I don't know if maybe like they saw Degrassi and it was like, we want to, do a more in-depth explanation of that. But I just was thinking about that this morning. I was like, wow, those two episodes kind of are parallels of each other, even though the characters aren't similar. I don't think Cassie and Manny are similar, but just that whole storyline arc, that's the only really storyline I feel like was similar, was like kind of an exact similar situation. Whereas Euphoria, even though I think it was influenced by Degrassi, I don't think it was an exact replica or it copied too much from Degrassi.
Yeah, you said a lot.
Yeah, I ain't even done. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's just the two things I thought about this morning. I got a lot more to say.
Well, going off what you said, definitely I think a lot of the characters influenced from Degrassi, definitely like storylines of drugs and sex, But the difference is Degrassi kind of did it in a more kid friendly way. Not saying it was totally kid friendly, but it was definitely more kid friendly than Euphoria is, because Euphoria is on a different level. But I think they amped it up because
The channel.
the channel, of course,
Yeah.
and then this generation is on a whole nother level than when our generation grew up and watched Degrassi.
Yeah, because when we was watching Degrassi, we was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they
Yeah.
showed that on TV. And
So they
then,
saying that now with Euphoria, so I
yeah,
can't even imagine what's the next Euphoria.
that's gonna be scary. It's gonna be like 3D, 4D. It's gonna be stuck on the TV.
Yeah, but I didn't really have anything to write down or anything. I'm just going off what I see because I feel like I can flow better that way. But when talking about Euphoria, I think they definitely was trying to do the dynamic like what
Cassie, yeah.
Cassie and Maddie's relationship was kind of like Emma and Manny's
Oh my
relationship.
god, I literally wrote that down.
Oh.
I mean, we could both talk about because literally we have the same. I'm pretty sure we had the same thoughts. But yeah,
Yeah, but Cassie and Manny's relationship was kind of like
I think you
Emma.
said Manny.
Oh,
Cassie
Cassie and
and Manny.
Maddie.
It is kind of hard to decipher their names
Yeah,
because it's so
Cassie
similar.
and Maddie's relationship as Manny and Emma's
Emma.
relationship, and just like everything. But only difference is I think they did differently with Cassie and Maddie. Was the whole the girl was with the girl was with Cassie was with Nate.
Yeah.
I think this is the only difference, but because I don't really feel like Emma would have portrayed Manny like that.
But I do think it goes back to how
They was with the same people.
Yeah,
but the difference is when they did it on Degrassi, it wasn't in a malicious way. They both like was okay with it. But on Euphoria, they made it like real life, like you betrayed me.
Yeah.
Like you didn't even, but like she don't even care if you went out with her ex-boyfriend. More like you broke our friendship.
That's why I feel like Euphoria, this like whatever however you would call it, but the whole this walked so that this could run is literally how Degrassi was for Euphoria, because I feel like literally Euphoria takes all, like not all, like I said, it takes like some of the stuff from Degrassi and it amps it up 10 levels, because like we were just saying, literally Emma and Manny had the same crushes, went out with some of the same people, but it was never like malicious. Like sometimes, of course, they did like get in little petty arguments, but it never went that far. But then we see Cassie and Maddie. You would think Cassie don't have no interest in Nate. What in the world would have happened? And then all of a sudden they getting together, and it's
She's
like
in love with him.
Yeah, like it went all the way to this whole nother thing that you wouldn't even think about. So that's why I'm like, it did the whole walk. This walk so this could run is literally a perfect representation of, at least for out of all the shows we're gonna talk about today, I feel like this was the most perfect representation of this walk so this could run, because it's literally, you know, this literally walk so this could run.
Yeah, if anything, this will probably be the main show we talk about because the rest of them like have little snippets, but not like a full spectrum like Euphoria does.
So I gotta get out my notes now because now I gotta be like, okay, what did I talk about? Oh, something that I feel like I'm probably gonna bring up on every episode that or every TV show we're gonna talk about. I feel like the shows took the kind of aspect of this is a group of friends or this is just a group of high schoolers, and they really talked about like every single character. And so I feel like with Euphoria, you know, they literally have episodes like this is Kat's episode, this is Maddie's episode, this is Rue's episode. Like they literally have, or at least the first season, they kind of went that route of how Degrassi did. Like Degrassi maybe would take one character like Spinner and talk about his whole situation with his cancer. Or they maybe will break it up and be like, okay, we're gonna talk about Claire and we're gonna talk about Allie, but it's not gonna be necessarily the same storyline. It's gonna be brought together at the end, but it's two different stories, but they're best friends. So you see, I feel like that's what they kind of did with Euphoria. They kind of took the aspect of, okay, we're gonna have this person or we're gonna have two people and we kind of bring those stories together. Like perfect example of like the party episode, it was really about like 5 different storylines, but it was all brought together at the end. And I feel like some of the I can't think of like a specific Degrassi episode. Maybe like the episode. I don't want to. I know I don't like to bring this up because like traumatic, but I'm gonna keep hitting this thing just like y'all know. But um, the episode with Liberty's birthday, of course, when JT died, it was like 5 different storylines. Like we was learning about how Sean was coming back and him and Emma was trying to, rekindle their relationship. Then Liberty, of course, trying to be like, I want to express my relationship or express my feelings about JT. And then the whole JT situation. And everybody was watching together during when it was in the hospital. So like
with Euphoria when it came back on with season 2 with the New Year's Eve party.
Yeah, that's why that was the party. Yeah. Was it another party episode?
I mean, it could have been. I don't know.
But yeah,
that's the first one I thought of.
That was the one I was talking about, like the party episode, because literally everybody was doing like Nate was in the bathroom with Cassie, and Kat was there with her boyfriend who she looked like she was annoyed by. Jules was just coming back from Euphoria from New York and all that stuff. So yeah, it was just like all these things, and then it was brought together at the end when Nate beat Fez beat Nate. I almost said Nate beat Fez, which that would never happen, but yeah, y'all get it. That's mostly.
You can also compare it to the play as well.
That's true. The play, that's another thing that I did like. I feel like Degrassi, and again, this is like it's a perfect representation of this walk so this could run, because when I was watching Degrassi, I was like, these productions is way too much. And Euphoria was like, no, let me make a bigger production, because it's like the drama club of Degrassi is like no sort of representation how it is in real life. At least when I was going to school, like their plays was good, but like they put like what kind of money did Degrassi put into their drama club?
You said the plays was good at your school.
I mean, I only went to like one, but I meant like it was good as in the acting.
Mine, and I was in those plays.
But I meant like the acting part. I'm not really talking. I'm talking about the production part. Like the set maybe looked good, or because I didn't, like I said, I didn't really go to really any plays in my school. Yeah, and they look good. So that's what I'm saying. Like it was done well, but y'all did it with the money or whatever type of stuff that y'all had. But it seemed like Degrassi, especially with Euphoria, they was like, let's put $1 million into the drama club, and y'all could do whatever y'all want.
Definitely had a big budget.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's not how it is in school for real. But maybe they like this is what it should be like in school. So I don't know.
I mean, they should make sure the arts have enough money, but they always worry about sports more than anything in schools.
And if you notice these two shows, I feel like don't have too much sports. And then, like, of course, Degrassi had football, and Euphoria had football and
basketball.
Did Euphoria have basketball?
Yeah, because that's the whole thing with Nate. Didn't he do basketball?
I think he did football. Maybe he played multiple sports. I don't know. The dude was doing too much.
I swear I thought I saw a basketball team. I don't know.
Like I said, I don't know. I was
Degrassi got basketball.
Yeah, and then cheerleading for both. They both had Power Squad for Degrassi. But I think on Euphoria, it could be called Power Squad. If it's called Power Squad, that'd be funny. But I believe they were cheerleading. Oh yeah, it probably was dance team. But yeah, just a lot of drama, and then two other things I kind of wanted to touch on. So I feel like, Degrassi, one thing that was kind of different though, but it still was maybe influenced by Degrassi, the whole drug situation with Rue. It was no person or even family member that was really like addicted on Degrassi. So maybe that is one thing they could have kind of took more, but I think they was going around the times.
Casey's mom. But she was an alcoholic now.
I was about to say, yeah, I think she was an alcoholic.
They still count that as a drug addict, I think, though.
But I mean, like, drugs specifically. Like, they didn't even really touch drugs that much. Well, I mean, like you said, alcohol. But I meant drugs, like, the hard drugs. That's true. Oh, that's true. That probably would go more. Because I was going to say Anya and JT, they both kind of dabbled in drugs. But I didn't even think about Craig. Dang, well, never mind. That goes against. I was gonna say
that nosebleed.
Yeah, I didn't even think about Craig.
But his drug,
it wasn't as severe. Like they didn't show it as much. But yeah, they could have. Wow. Well, yeah. Never mind. I was gonna be like, yeah, they didn't really touch on it much, but they did because Craig did have that left in my mind. I don't know how, because that's literally Craig's like biggest storyline. But other than his dad and
bipolar.
Yeah, so but the other thing I was gonna touch on, but these don't kind of have parallels either. I just kind of was like kind of trying to take everything that I could from like episodes and stuff. But Kat had her whole situation on Euphoria where on the first season she was becoming like a video cam girl. And I was like, how did that kind of relate? Because I feel like they did something like that on Degrassi. So on the later seasons of the Next Generation, before it went to Next Class, they had that whole storyline where the cheerleaders were like selling their um I guess you would say like nudes or something. Like they were selling their pictures to so that they could get more stuff for their cheerleading squad or power squad or whatever. And I was like, that kind of is similar to Cat. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but that was the only parallel that I could find because that was like such a big storyline for Cat. And Degrassi don't really try. I don't think they really touch on that situation. I feel like if they do, when they reboot it, they probably are gonna talk about stuff like that, like cam girls and more sexual
But
situations. But
why is underage girls doing cam? Like
yeah, that is very weird.
that's just weird for me.
But I do feel like that's probably something they're gonna touch on just because that is something that's like big right now. Not like a trend, but I just mean
Oh yeah,
like
because OnlyFans.
yeah, like platforms like that is going to probably influence more,
Definitely
younger
TikTok
girls.
when we talked about.
Yeah. Oh, TikTok definitely gonna be talking about.
Yeah.
Social media in general gonna be talking about. Even though they kind of tried to do that with Next Class, it just they couldn't continue because they was like, we don't want to give you another season, but whatever. I don't need you. I'm going to
So
HBO.
when they reboot it, I wonder if it's still gonna be called Degrassi Next Class or something else.
Yeah, like some people say they might just call it Degrassi because no season was called just Degrassi.
Boo, that's boring.
Yeah, I can
No.
like because I think they had Degrassi High, they had Degrassi Junior High or Degrassi Street, Degrassi Next Generation, Degrassi Next Class. I don't know if that's everything, but like everything wasn't really called just Degrassi. But I think they literally saying this one might just be called Degrassi, which is gonna be
Degrassi
weird.
minis.
Yeah, even Degrassi minis. But yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I can really think of that really ties Degrassi and Euphoria together. So that's as much, even though I wrote down a bunch of stuff, I feel like I got most of it off my chest. I might talk about
And I
it
probably
more.
talked about some stuff.
Exactly. Like, yeah, so let's just move on to because we could probably talk about Euphoria forever. Because I'm trying not to talk about Euphoria, so I'm just trying to talk about the parallels to Degrassi. So yeah. Next show. Oh, I thought I did Gossip Girl next. My bad. Oh, spoiler. You don't know what shows after this. But Riverdale. Yeah, I know how I feel about Riverdale.
Apparently, they have superpowers now.
I love how all of a sudden, well, I don't think this all of a sudden. I think 50% of people watch Riverdale and 50%, well, excuse me, I think 100% of people watch Riverdale. Half of them was like, oh, this is a good show. And the other half was like, where is this going? When it started. I was one of the people that was like, where's this going?
I liked it.
Yeah. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch like one. The first season wasn't that bad. I'm not gonna lie. Second season, I don't know. Third season was actually pretty good. The first half, the second half, that's when I was like, I'm done. Because it's like this, like the seventh season, right? Or fifth. I don't know if I'm exaggerating.
I think I'm on the fifth season, so this got to be like the seventh season.
Okay.
I think it just started the seventh season. To be honest, I don't know.
Cause I stopped watching like halfway through the third season.
I
right?
stopped watching through the first part of the fifth season when they did the flashback. I think.
Like I don't understand it. Like I said, I'm trying not to talk about Riverdale too much. We're trying to talk about the influences.
I mean, the flashback season was pretty good. The parts that I seen. I think the only reason why I stopped watching it was hard to keep up because I had so much episodes to catch up on. So I was like, it's no point because I don't have nobody to talk about it with anyway.
That's true.
And then all of a sudden, what made me like really stop? I think after
you said Jughead got abducted or something.
Yeah, literally. That's
okay. I was saying that's what you said
because I literally saw the episode. It looked like Jughead was getting like he had a flashing light at the end, and then like wind was going by him, and then they cut it off. I was like, I don't know about watching this anymore. They're getting crazy now because he had writer's block. So I'm assuming since he's gonna get abducted by aliens, don't quote me on this, y'all. I did not see it after this, But I'm assuming after he get abducted by aliens or whatever happened to him with the flashing light, he gonna end up now writing stuff because he was trying to figure out some type of creature that was in Riverdale, and I think it's like a kind of like a Mothman type creature. So he was trying to like go into that, and I think as he was doing that, that's when he gonna end up being abducted. Because him and the girl who was what's the restaurant's name? Uh, the little diner guy. I forgot his name. The black guy.
Pops.
Pops. Yeah. How you remember?
Because that was the only good part of the show.
Yeah. So when Pops,
the milkshakes,
because he still was around Pops and his I don't know if it's his granddaughter or his daughter. I think it's his granddaughter. That's who he started to get close to on the show.
Mm. But yeah, people on TikTok is talking about how it's too much now, and I'm like, it's always been too much. So,
and then the one episode they said that they brought back like the old comics and like one of the 100th episode
that's not
or whatever.
Because that's one of the things that's like getting me the most is that it's nowhere near. I mean, I guess technically it's similar to the comics, but I read the comics. I actually like the comics, so already I was in a touchy feely mood when they was like, "Oh, we making it more dramatic and dark," and I was like, "Ew."
And now, yeah, Sabrina Teenage Witch. I gotta finish that.
But that was similar to the comic books. That's what they said.
The dark comic books, he said, not the TV show.
But it's no dark Archie comics. They all like funny.
I think it was though. I think they did a couple issues where they were dark.
I don't think they did because I read the Archie comics. None of them. They was all like stupid little.
Well, it's
funny
different and it's different, like different comics.
I don't know. I like the funny. Like I was like with
comic strips.
I read the Betty and Veronica ones, and even though I like the actresses who play Betty and Veronica, I don't like the whole Betty Veronica thing. I think the most thing they got to the comic book was like the whole like. Oh well, yeah, that too. I was gonna say like more of them being like they was kind of frenemies. They was kind of like, oh, we friends, but we not.
To be honest, when I seen the show of Riverdale, I didn't see Betty and Veronica as frenemies. They literally had sexual tension the whole time.
Well, on the show, but I'm talking about the comic book. Oh, that was the one thing I like that they got right. Yeah.
I was saying on Riverdale, it seemed like they had sexual tension. They
probably
enemies to me.
They probably got sexual tension. Some people would say they got sexual tension on the comic book.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't really read the comic books, so I wouldn't know.
I mean, it was a good comic book.
I think I read the Archie comics like on a newspaper as a kid, but that's really it.
But yeah, I don't really have much to say about. Oh no, excuse me. I don't have much to say about the parallels of Degrassi to Riverdale, just because, like I said, I feel like all the shows that we want to talk about, the whole friend group and discussing each person's life and going into their drama, that's gonna be pretty much all the shows we talk about. One thing, and we already talked about the Betty Veronica thing. That was another thing. Degrassi ain't cringe.
They do have Claire's little rant to Eli, yes.
But okay, it's cringe, but the whole show ain't cringe. The whole show is cringe.
Jughead's I'm a weirdo. Claire's did you erase me for your memory?
Okay, it was another cringe. Oh, your mom's pasta sauce. He really got to be Hazel for the mom's pasta sauce.
Yeah. Another one was is it Kiss Craig? Is it gotta kiss Craig?
Oh yeah. We just all kiss Craig. Oh, and then with Hazel, she was like, "Oh, it's cold. Who's gay?" You know, when they was hanging out with Dylan, she's like, "Oh, it's cold. Who's gay?"
I literally just finished watching a Degrassi cringe compilation.
Oh no!
When Spinner was like, "Oh, I dance like a polar bear, and I'm white, so you're racist." Then Jimmy's like, "What?"
Or when Jimmy when Ash was like, "Oh hey Jimmy," he's like, "I don't want to talk to you, you whore," or something like that. I was like, "Excuse me."
Or when Emma was to Peter and Miss Hackalackos.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to talk to you anyway or whatever.
Yeah,
she did iconic.
She really did.
I didn't do it justice. I'm so sorry. But those cringy moments that, or anything with Danny and.
Oh yeah, they was all around cringe.
A stack of dimes.
Oh no, yeah, when Danny pulled down JT's some trunks.
Yeah, I mean it's a few here and there, but I just was comparing it to, Riverdale's cringe factor.
Yeah, they turned it up 10 levels, like we said about Euphoria. That's what Riverdale did. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say they turned up to 10 levels, maybe 5. But I mean, once the seasons got started, like if you just comparing it to the first couple seasons, they ain't turn it up that much. But then you think about it. Oh wait, another thing they kind of did on Riverdale, they made the teacher younger, so Archie and her can be together, and then Sav and Miss H, what's her name?
Miss O.
I'm so sorry. Miss O.
I don't think nobody gonna be mad at you.
They had a little cringe relationship.
And Paige and that dude that was like giving her weed
we
and
ain't
stuff.
talking about pedophile. I mean,
it's still the same situation.
Pedophile. I mean, Mr.
I don't remember his name. Mr. Oleander. Yeah, I could not say that.
I can't know none of these teachers' names. To be honest, I don't watch Degrassi for the.
You remember Miss Kwan?
Oh yeah,
I like Miss Kwan,
but Miss Kwan wasn't the cringe factor of.
That's true.
Degrassi.
But okay, one thing I wanted to talk about. This is like the only thing that I really was like, okay, I had to wrote it down and everything. So
and Vanessa Morgan was on both shows.
Oh yeah, she's the baby mama. She's Dallas's baby mama. That's true. That right there is enough to be.
They both Canadian shows, ain't they?
Yeah. Well, that's filmed in Canada.
I mean, I still count.
Lord Jesus.
We're trying to
please
do our best here.
Excuse my allergies, because my voice is going away.
Yes, it's allergies, y'all. Allergies. Not the thing that's going around, because I don't think you're allowed to say it on YouTube.
But I don't think that takes your voice away.
And you can get strep throat.
Really?
Yeah. But you don't go out anyway, so you're just your allergies like that.
Okay. So I feel like how as soon as I start talking, my voice is fine. I feel like Drew from Degrassi and Archie from Riverdale are similar. They're both jocks with a heart of gold type of people. They have similar storylines, like with Drew being with Allie and then getting with Bianca and a relationship going on to be like a really great relationship. Yeah. And then, I don't know if maybe this makes sense, but I feel like it's kind of the same with Archie they weren't together, but Betty had a crush on him and then they do eventually end up being it. They was together like a couple of times.
They get together.
Lady, I know, but I'm saying like the first time. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh, my bad.
That's what I was like, I don't know if that really counts, because I know they got together and then they was together when they did the time jump too, right?
Yeah, they was just friends with benefits though.
Oh. I thought they was like married or something.
Doesn't mean they get together, but I know later, because I only saw the beginning part of the flashback. They could have ended up getting married, but I don't know. But I know at the beginning they were just like messing around. Yeah,
so I'm kind of saying that's similar when Archie and Betty kind of had that whole thing, but then Veronica came and then everybody was like, we love Veronica and Archie or whatever. I don't think they love them as much as Betty and Jughead, but I'm just comparing it to the whole Bianca and Drew, to how Archie and Veronica ended up getting
Betty
together.
And Jughead more like the Claire and Eli.
Yeah, probably, because they do have similar to like, the whole dark vampire type, even though they were more into like true crime and all that stuff.
I'm a weirdo.
So you're trying to say that Jughead is Claire and Betty is Eli?
No, I was still saying Betty was Claire.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying because you compared to
Degrassi really made Eli very cringe. That's something Eli was saying.
Yeah. Jughead definitely giving me Eli vibes, and I'm so upset because
they could have really did something with that.
Yeah. What really got me to stop watching Riverdale, just me, because already the storylines are cringe. I can watch a cringe show. Like, we already just talked about like 10 moments that Degrassi was cringe. But what was too much for me was the whole gang, or like what's they called, snakes or something?
It's not vipers.
Whatever their name was. Whenever they was doing that thing.
Oh, you mean vipers, and then the ones they was against, because I think Jughead's dad was part of the Vipers, wasn't it?
No, it was started with an S. It was like Serps.
The Serpents.
Serpents, thank you.
It's been a while.
So what threw me, I didn't care that they added the gang part to it, but when they started going to like, okay, Jughead is trying to, rekindle his relationship with his dad or whatever, But then why did they have to add Betty? And she did the whole strip tease. That threw me.
And why out of all the songs you strip to is Mad World?
That was enough for me because I already didn't like. I wouldn't say I'm a prude or anything, but when it comes to TV shows about high schoolers, I don't want to see them having like sexual relationships every 5 seconds because I know for me, well, already I was homeschooled. And I understand that, sexual things do happen in high school, but they was acting like they was acting like it was a brothel up in that school. Like that was too much for me. I was like, they need to stop showing this to kids. Yeah, like I know it's not made for kids, but it was so uncomfortable. Like it went from not being cringe anymore to just being like really gross for me to watch. And I ain't trying to say like, everybody each their own and everything, but I don't know. Like Degrassi, they show sexual relationships and stuff, but they ain't take it that far. Like I can even watch Euphoria, which they be having sex every 5 seconds, but I don't know.
They showing boobies and penis.
Yeah, but Euphoria is that type of show. Like it's telling you, like we're gonna shock you, we're gonna do stuff that doesn't, and they're trying to basically show you stuff that either you shouldn't do or you should learn from, not stuff that you should be doing. Not saying Riverdale is that type of show that's showing you stuff you should be doing, but it's like I don't know. It didn't make sense for the storyline to me for her to be like doing a striptease, and she's like what 16, 17 in front of
16 at that point,
showing her body to like. It gotta be some 30, 40-year-old dudes up in there.
And they all like this.
Ooh. Everybody like, oh my God,
and then Jughead like this. What the? Exactly. Like the only one that was doing the right reaction. What are you doing?
Like, what is happening?
Hey, stop looking at my girl. What you doing?
That makes sense to me. That's what made me stop watching it.
Because she was trying to connect with Jughead and his family. But it's a different way you can do that.
Like have dinners.
Why you do Mad World? You could just, she's my cherry pie. Come on now.
Bro, you think it was obviously they were trying to go for a certain type of mood. You were gonna do it slow. She's my
better than Mad World. Mad World is one of the most depressing songs ever. Cherry Pie not even depressing.
They got at least the Toxic. Everybody been doing Toxic. Oh. The Toxic version.
Oh my God!
Maybe can't you see?
That's so classic. Maybe they thought it was too classic. But I was like,
that would have went better.
It really would have. It would have been a whole different scene if she was just in Toxic. Because she can sing. She could have sung.
Yeah, well, I thought she did sing.
Yeah, she sung Mad Word. She could have sung that song.
Yeah, she could have sung it. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like when Riverdale writers be in the room, they'd be like, okay, what's the most
cringy thing we can use?
Yeah,
what's the most cringy song that don't even go with the scene? Can we use? Mad World.
Oh, perfect. Writing it down.
If anything, it should have did Riptide. Might as well.
Like
taking the weight to the dark side with me, yo. Left-hand man. There you go.
What in the world? I can't. But that's the reason why.
Or Taylor Swift song.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, they could have did Taylor Swift song.
Really, anything else.
But that's why I stopped watching it. I couldn't deal with the cringe.
You stopped watching it then? I thought you because Vanessa Morgan was there by then.
Yeah, I would say yeah. I didn't get to see her be pregnant and all that stuff, but that was the time jump though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't get to see all that.
That's the only thing I think that kept me watching was
Vanessa Morgan.
Yeah. At first it was Cole Sprouse because that's my boo. But after a while I was like, Jughead, you doing too much.
For real.
You're doing too much. But then Jughead's flash forward, his all disheveled looking. Oh, he gained a little weight a little bit. I was loving it. I was into it. But he still was acting crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I think the only person who was like, was Topaz. Only person that seemed like they had
okay.
Tony Topaz.
Okay, that's what it was. But it was Tony. I was like
I loved her and Cheryl's relationship. We didn't even talk about Cheryl.
But there's no parallel really to, I guess you could say Imogen and I guess either one.
Because she did the dance group.
So I see what you, because you was kind of like a queen bee type thing. Okay, yeah, I guess that Paige and Alex kind of go, and then she was like rough and tumble rebel.
Yeah, she was.
So
then I think after a while, Vanessa Morgan's character, Tony Topaz, kind of came into her own. So yeah, kind of like Alex thing.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense. I was gonna say Fiona Imogen just because that's the first thing I think of, but that makes more sense for it to be.
I'm about to say I don't think they was like Fiona and Imogen because Fiona and Imogen was like all cutesy while Paige and Al was like, we sexy.
That's true.
So that's how Cheryl and Tony were.
Okay, next one. Yeah, go to right play. Okay, yeah, Gossip Girl.
XOO? Wait. XOXO Gossip Girl. I said, what I just say? Oh my
God. Now, when at all the shows, I feel like this one, when I'm saying it's influenced by Degrassi, it's literally just because like when I watched, I was like, literally they took this because we did like a whole binge watch. When was this? This was like right before. Either it was right before I went to school, or it was right when like the pandemic everything happened. I don't know.
I think it was right before you went to school.
Okay, yeah.
That's when we really got we really got into Netflix, I think.
Yeah, and we just sat there and watched that whole series.
And this is gonna be controversial before we get started, but everybody was like, "Oh, I'm surprised Dan he literally is a writer, y'all."
Well, no, I don't think they said they were surprised. I think they said that. Well, no, they did say it didn't make sense, but I think they was mad. I think they were saying it was like Pretty Little Liars.
Oh,
we're not gonna get into Pretty Little Liars. That's why I didn't put it on the list. No, we're gonna be upset.
No,
we're gonna be upset. And
literally, Pretty Little Liars producers or whoever wrote the show, I'm pretty sure,
or whoever wrote the ending, because it's probably not the same person.
Yeah, that's true. Whoever wrote the last episode, I know y'all did that at the last minute.
And which last episode? Because they both was terrible.
Because y'all had another one in the books. Y'all had another one in the books. Y'all said, no, we're going to go with the trend. So we're going to turn it.
But that's what I'm saying. So we mostly talking about A, because the ending technically is when Spencer had her twin and all that crap.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They had to add it because they was like, this don't seem right. Yeah, literally could have used Spencer's twin as A.
Exactly.
It would have been done.
Well, remember she was Alt A or whatever you call it. That was the dumbest storyline. It was like, oh, everybody don't like A. We're gonna make an Alt A. Like we just gonna add another person up in there.
Yeah, I don't understand.
It don't make sense.
And what's the whole point of Arya? We thought
it was A. Arya being A would have been the best freaking twist, even though everybody was guessing that. That would have made way more sense.
It would have went because she literally is the insider. I feel like if one of them four could have been it.
Yeah. Any of them, yeah.
Allison could have been A, but I feel like that'd been too obvious.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying because anybody who know them firsthand could have been the person who it was. The person who it was
Spencer's sister could have been A. Yeah, but that would have been good too.
The person who they chose to be A, because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who didn't see it.
It's not really a spoil. I'm sorry.
They didn't even they really wasn't there much.
Yeah.
They just
really no spoiler.
I guess that's why they picked what's her name? The girl's name. What's her name? Charlotte?
You just say you didn't want to spoil it.
But I just want to know her. You said it don't matter.
You said I'm not gonna spoil it, but no, it was like Cece or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So she literally was on, I think, first and second season, and that was it.
Yeah, or like she was there sporadic. She wasn't technically even there first, second season. She just was sporadically.
Yeah, she was Jason's girlfriend,
which is gross because they was related.
Twins.
Oh, yeah, twins.
That's crazy.
That is weird. But yeah, okay. So Gossip Girl. I just feel like most of my I feel like when I watched it, I just feel like I was kind of watching like a rich people Degrassi, honestly. Like even though none of the storyline stuff, but like it pertained to their wealth and stuff. Mm-hmm. Just like with Degrassi, it pertained to like the people that were around, their family, all that type of stuff, the community that
but no characters really match Degrassi characters, I feel like.
That's what I'm saying. But I feel like that's because of their wealth. Like if they were just like average,
so all of them was Fiona's and Declan's.
Yeah, basically that's what we saw. We basically saw when Fiona and Declan was going to school in New York. That was them. So yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't feel like there's no really parallels other than the fact, we watching the show about high schoolers and them going through like different situations. But yeah, theirs definitely was just like, we're rich, we're doing this. And Degrassi's was more like, we're everyday people. You're gonna relate to us. You can't really relate to Gossip Girl. But
I mean, they had a did they have a writer in Degrassi?
yeah, Eli.
Eli was a writer.
Well, Claire, I guess, I believe was more of a writer than Eli.
But Eli and Dan, or Claire and Dan, don't really have nothing in common either.
This is like, yeah, it's no other parallels other than the fact that it's
Eli got more in common with what's his name's character on You.
Oh, Joe. Ew.
I said more in common. I said they exactly.
No, I was like, that's not make. No.
Let's be honest. When Eli was being crazy a little bit with his hearse, it kind of remind you of Joe a little bit.
No, I feel like Joe's not that. See, more calm, I feel like Eli reacts more on his emotion, whereas Joe is more just like, I'm upset. I'm gonna go and do whatever I want. I'm controlling.
Yeah, but he kind of smart with his stalker in though.
Yeah, Eli wouldn't have been smart if he was a stalker. He would have just been, he would have called himself out. He would be like, I'm following you, or something like that. It's like, dude, that defeats the purpose of stalking.
But maybe he is more like Dan, because I feel like Dan would be the same way.
Yeah, but I don't know what I'm doing. Dan kind of got on my nerves the last couple seasons too. Because he was just like, he made it a whole point to be like, oh, rich people this. Nate, though. Nate is, I don't see how people like Nate. Yeah. And look, we watched the reboot of Gossip Girl, and
we literally watched the first episode. That was it.
Yeah, we didn't watch nothing else. I mean, we can watch it. I just choose not to.
Yeah,
that dude
stuff to watch anyway.
That dude from the Pretty Little Liars thing, I was so pissed off. I feel like that's the main reason I didn't want to watch it. I was like, that's Nate. I don't have time for another Nate. I didn't think there was another Nate. With him. He was annoying. How you gonna be with the girl? Ain't they sisters? Mm. How you gonna be with the girl's sister? That's nasty. And she younger than you.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like gross because they was like, it wasn't like he was way older than her or nothing. But that's your girlfriend's sister. Like, at least if you're gonna cheat with somebody else. Don't cheat with my sister. That's weird.
I mean, that aside, yes, don't cheat with somebody's sister. But other than that, I don't really have a problem with him.
He just seemed annoying. Like he was sitting in the club like, I want to go home.
And they try to make him like Dan because I think he's a writer too, ain't it?
Yeah, but no, he's Nate. He's no Dan. Dan, I at least could tolerate Dan because Dan was cool at first.
And then the perceived Chuck, I guess the Chuck.
I liked him.
I'm about to say I liked him because you're not supposed to like him at first.
Yeah,
but I actually liked him.
Chuck, we all know he was you doing stuff he shouldn't have been doing and grossness. But then
look at his face though.
Ew, it's like I'm evil. It's like I'm evil. But yeah, at least with Dan at the beginning, I was like, I like Dan. But then Dan was like, oh, I don't. Rich people do this. Rich people do that. But then at the end, he became a rich person.
Yeah, he became them.
And I'm gonna
beat them, join them.
That's what I wish his attitude was like. But like, why even be upset about it? Like, why even at the beginning be like, and then end up being rich and then be like,
that whole family, like,
that's true.
His sister and the dad who ended up kept on being with Blair's mom, not Blair, Serena's mom. They all had the same attitude, like, oh, rich people this, rich people that, and y'all literally became them.
Well, no, the sister said that, but she already knew she was like, I already know I want to be part of this. She was like, the first episode, she was like, I want to be rich.
After a while, she was like, I don't want to even be around these
people. Yeah, she turned full on like, no, I hate everything.
Yeah, which I agree.
Yeah. But and then also a little bit, I feel like back with what we talked about with Euphoria, I feel like maybe Emma and Manny kind of have the same, dynamic with Serena and Blair. I feel like Serena and Blair more toxic. Yeah, it was way worse, but just had to point it out.
Yeah, and I think in this case, Blair might be more of Emma and Serena might be more Manny.
Yeah, I can see that.
Kind of switched that.
That's true, because she's blonde.
Yeah.
Because she's blonde, yeah.
He's like, oh, she's Emma. No, she's not.
Oh, that's true. And then also kind of because I guess you can say, even though Degrassi didn't really have no main character, like foreign characters, you could say Emma was kind of the main character for the earlier seasons of
Degrassi, and that's what Serena was.
Yeah.
For Gossip Girl. That's only similarities that Emma and Serena have. I think Emma's personality and Serena's personality is two different things.
This next one, I just want to point out. All I'm really gonna say about it, like I've been saying with all the other shows, the group dynamic, because Amber chose to add this, and she has this. Yes, well, Gossip Girl makes more sense to me. I understand it wasn't that much parallel.
I'm not gonna lie. With this list, we literally both said Euphoria.
Yeah,
we both said Riverdale. Well, no, you said Riverdale, I think, because I didn't even think about Riverdale.
Okay, so then you agree with me with Gossip Girl then?
No, what happened was when we made the list, I felt bad because I only said Euphoria, and we both said Euphoria. Yeah, that's true. So I said I need to think about something else. But only reason why I said this next one is just because of the one episode.
So yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Literally, all I'm really gonna say is the whole group dynamic thing that Degrassi does, where it's like one character. Of course, there's like a main character, but the group of high schoolers dynamic thing. That's all I gotta say about it, and then Amber can take it away.
Okay, before y'all be like, what is she talking about? Well, only reason why is Degrassi had moments where it's like bubbly, fun, and Nickelodeon, Disney-ish. And same, especially when they were in middle school. So, and to be honest, they both, Victoria's and Degrassi, both have particular schools. Like Degrassi is a charter school, Victoria's is an art school. So you could say that's a dynamic too.
She really stretched it now.
Hey, we stretched Gossip Girl.
No, we kind of did.
But
I feel Gossip Girl was more of a feeling.
We could have just did Euphoria, Riverdale, call it a day.
For real.
But let's be honest. Every show that I feel like has a group of high schoolers or even just a group of middle schoolers, it's kind of similar to Degrassi because again, each person has a storyline that ends up coming together. You had Jade and Beck, who's a couple. Robbie and Kat, are they going to be together? I don't know. And the same thing with Tori and Andre, same thing. And then you had the one character nobody likes, even though I like Trina. I mean, as time went on, I ended up relating to Trina even more. But at first, you were like, oh, we're not supposed to like Trina. So
that's kind of true. There's a bunch of other shows we could have did. We just maybe didn't watch them. Like the OC, we probably could have found some correlation.
Yeah, we just doing shows.
Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
Well, we watched Friday Night Lights, but I just didn't feel like doing that much research. And then what's another show? What's that show with Chad Michael Murray?
One Tree Hill.
Yeah, that probably could have been up there too.
And I barely watched One Tree Hill. We could have did the new 90210 or even the old one, but the old one thing came on when the old Degrassi came on.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna really compare them to.
Beverly Hills 90210 was kind of again a group friend dynamic, but
and that was in America while Degrassi was in Canada. So.
And I feel like that was like a huge influential show on its own, so I didn't want to add it and be like, oh, that's the.
And then somebody would be like.
That's not even the same thing.
They not even like
you know we're even near each other.
Yeah, but I mean, then the newer 90210 I feel like had more of a Degrassi feel than even the old 90210.
90210 was good.
Yeah, but back to and the one particular episode I wanted to watch. I mean, it's one of my favorite episodes of both, which is funny because I literally talked about my favorite episode was this episode, and then. My favorite episode of Victoria's is Breakfast Bunch, and in the Breakfast Club style episode of Degrassi. Well, the Breakfast Bunch was the Victoria's episode I'm comparing to Degrassi. Because Degrassi also did a Breakfast Club-esque episode where I believe it was Hazel, Jimmy, Toby,
you know who
Ellie and Sean. They were all stuck in detention. And the same thing, the Victorious group, I don't think I need to say their names. Everybody but Trina was in detention. I think it was everybody but Trina, right?
But Trina was on the episode, but she was in the
she just came in to get them tacos. But I felt like
I could go for some tacos right now.
Both episodes
sorry.
Both episodes were kind of like kiddish because they did like little antics here and there, like compared to the Breakfast Club the movie. and Breakfast Club is one of my favorite movies as well. So I felt like they did the movie. They both did the movie justice, and they both did their episodes the way their seasons is. Like the cringiness of Victorious, some of the stuff they did that with the Breakfast Bunch, and it was funny. It was hilarious. I had it on my
was like Apple store, Apple thing.
Yeah, I think I had it on
my Kindle. I probably had it on my Kindle too.
I had it on my iPad. I mean, not iPad, my iPod Touch.
Ooh, nostalgia.
And what's it called? I think it was my iPod Touch. I had it on one of my devices or whatever. And I always used to watch it all the time. Like if we traveled, I always watched the episode. And then same thing for Degrassi. That's one of my favorite episodes. Every time I want to watch Degrassi, I usually pull up that episode. So didn't like Allie and Sean. I just want to put that out there.
And I also like something that's like a parallel just between the two episodes, or like not a parallel, but like I like how Degrassi went towards like a less like movie type approach to the Breakfast Club, because like they went for the show, like they still wanted it to be Degrassi. They didn't want it to be like a episode of Degrassi that mimics Breakfast Club. It was still Degrassi.
Yeah.
And it was more like I don't know, it was more like relatable, like understandable. Like I could see all that stuff actually happening in detention. Whereas with Breakfast Club, it is kind of like, I don't know. I wasn't born yet when Breakfast Club came out, so I don't know how detention was back then. But I don't know. I feel like I can
I don't
see
even
that
think detention was ever like that. I feel like Breakfast Club did their own type of detention.
Yeah, which is cool. Like I still like the idea. I ain't saying it's not. Yeah. I'm just saying Degrassi did it in a more realistic. That's the word I was trying to use. Realistic way.
I think they did detention where you had to stay after school, like Degrassi did and Victoria's did. But I don't think. Well, no, Victoria's did Saturday as well. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it was ever like a Saturday detention. More like in school suspension.
Yeah. Thing. And then with Victoria's, I like how theirs was more like all the things on Breakfast Club, that all the scenes and stuff that they really like.
They basically so, like, parodied,
if that's a word. But y'all know what I'm saying. Parody. Y'all know what we saying.
Yeah.
Like the scene where he was like, "Oh, I can take another day to teach all that stuff." They did that with Jay, right? Mm-hmm.
And the also kind of Tori too.
Oh yeah, and then the whole situation with Kat and being like, I'm like scared at first because the girl tried to seem like she was scared and all that stuff.
The whole weird old thing.
Oh yeah, and the dancing scene. Mm-hmm. Like they took most of like the popular parts, which I feel like was very great. Like that was perfect for Victoria's being like, Nickelodeon show. I like how they did it and in their own way as well too. So
yeah.
But that had nothing to do with Degrassi.
The whole ending part with the panda representing the janitor.
Oh yeah. Like, see you next Saturday. See you next Saturday.
And at the end, when Tori was like, "Oh no, come back."
Yeah, I wish Degrassi would have did something like that.
Yeah, but Degrassi kind of did their ending how everybody wanted Breakfast Club to do their ending. They showed the next day when they was in school.
That's true.
But the difference is, if Breakfast Club did that means they go to school on Sunday. So it don't make sense.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay.
So, but still, they could have did 2 days later because it'll be Monday.
Yeah.
But just saying, because I think we talked about that a little bit on one of our other episodes with Breakfast Club. We said that we wish they would have did something.
Oh yeah, like if they made
a second about the favorite episode. Yeah. But yeah, that's about it. That's about it with Victorious and Degrassi.
Yeah, back to this. So yeah, that's our episode of these shows. Degrassi walks with these shows to run, and I really like that type of. I don't know. I kind of want to see that with more. Like if other people have podcasts or like other movies and TV shows. Like I want to see other videos like that, because like the meme was so strong. But I barely saw anybody do like, like let's actually do an analysis of it. So
yeah, that's true. But not a lot of these like other podcasts that do other shows or other movies. Maybe they don't compare to other TV shows.
That's true.
Degrassi compares to a lot of TV shows. I think because it's been on for so long.
Yeah, but so next time we're gonna be kind of doing our next 2 episodes, but I don't want to go too far. But our next episode is gonna be about Jeopardy! Oh my gosh, y'all. So when we did our Sema episode and the Eclair episode, I know a lot of people was like, "Oh, we have all these other favorite couples," and we do too. Just of course, Sema is like Amber's favorite in-game couple, and Eclair is my favorite in-game couple. But we didn't want to just stop there. We want to talk about all the in-game couples. So our next one is gonna be Jeopardy, and then we're gonna do another one, and then we might do some other ones later down, and
we might talk ones that's kind of more cringy. You never know.
That's true, yeah. We might talk about some controversial ones. We might just do. We maybe not gonna talk about every couple that we love. We might just talk about couples in general.
Yeah.
But the next couple ones, we're gonna be talking about couples we still think were in game or love. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
we actually like the couples that we're gonna talk about next.
Yeah. So love Jeopardy. Honestly, Jeopardy, before Eclair came into the picture, even
they were the in-game couple before Eclair. They were the in-game couple.
Well, yeah, but I was gonna say they was like, yeah, just tough. Because
Sean and Emma's still an in-game couple to me too, but that's more my opinion. But I feel like if you're going for the whole Degrassi community, they'll probably say Jeopardy.
Like, I don't want to talk about, but just like, oh, it's just such a great couple.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna talk about it next time. So that has been our episode of Degrassi Class and Nostalgia. I have been Michaela.
And I'm Amber.
And we will see y'all next time. Bye.